Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a couple of weeks actually since I posted something on Blossom or even for a video, and that's because I was actually on vacation. Went to Newfoundland, just before it got kind of cold, and it was nice to see the ocean and go boating. But then to come back to Edmonton and see the sucky cold and snow. So, but yeah, that's life. And just coming back to reality, I guess. Again, thank you again for all the follows. And this week I just posted one thing, which was on Ticker Tuesday. And so whoever um, posted, thanks a lot for the submissions. It means a lot. And yeah, we'll go through all four of these. And yeah, in terms of general market outlook, I just found it funny. I was looking through, some of the posts here, and there was one guy here which I found. Yeah, just markets are fully fun, up and down, and then the full blading. So, yeah, it has been a little bit of a pullback, and we kind of expected this. I think, in my last video, I said there is a little bit of a turnaround. We're seeing a lot of big short positions even in crypto, and now we're also seeing a lot of sell off in the stocks as well. And I think I mentioned, way back, crypto is usually, especially Bitcoin, is usually the forerunner or the signal ahead before whatever happens in the market. And so we are seeing a little bit of a pullback. I'm not sure if it's a full on crash, but it is what it is, and we kind of expected it. I mean, the market was going straight up. Most stocks were shooting up. You had AI, and everyone talking about the AI bubble, and that was another interesting thing. Just I think last week, or actually a couple of days ago, markets plunged worldwide after our good old friend Michael Burry, the big short investor, he puts 1.1 billion against AI stocks. So that's quite a bit, and obviously, there was probably a lot of backlash and even people saying it's expected. But you are seeing a little bit of drops for some of the bigger names. And so for now, it's just we are sitting on a lot of cash, trying to scan the market for some good positions, which will be a little bit harder now because everything will be dumping. And so for now, yeah, just keeping our head in the game. And I'll go over some of the public positions. And I think Resolve AI hit our stop loss, which I was totally fine with because we made our gains. We stayed disciplined, it's emotionless, hit our 30%, 60%, 100% gains, and then out at 10%. So that was a good run with Resolve. And yeah, I'll go over all the public ones. So we'll get right into the charts. The first one was submitted by Svea. I kind of like her stocks. She's always getting these really, really low depressed stocks, which could have super high potential if they do work out. And we saw that with, I think, HOND. And then I'm not too sure if BACQ actually hit, but either way, it's she has some good picks. So this one is hyperscale data, and as you can see, it's depressed quite a bit, flatlined, and also a couple of splits, which I really don't like to see. That means management is struggling quite a bit. But what is interesting though is, so you had a little bit of a buyer push here in 2022, and then a little bit in 2023, and then just some blips along the way. But what is getting interesting here is that there is a cluster of buyer momentum. So I'll have to just zoom in all the freaking way. And again, just in terms of context, this stock would be highly speculative and quite risky. So, manage your position size appropriately. It doesn't make sense to put all your cash in this stock. Just, proper risk management. Wow, that was a lot of scrolling for that. So, as you can see, quite depressed. And so yeah, this is what I mean. Really close cluster, a couple of weeks of buyer momentum showing me that there is someone getting in there and buying the stock, but then obviously a lot of red candles. So this first three I would ignore because it broke that swing high with this major candle over here. And so I guess the next one would actually be this swing low. So if I was looking at this stock, my first thing would be to watch this stock. I wouldn't even bother looking to buy anything and see if it's going to hold this swing low. Same process as this, you just get this sudden spike down and it just breaks that swing low. And the easiest way to look at that is actually with the VWAP, right? So right now, the price action is not able to push past these previous highs, and that's what I'm looking for. In our typical stocks that we bought earlier, and even some of our public positions, we see a lot of these green little candles that's just showing our strategy in behind the scenes, and what it's looking for is the buyer momentum, insider buying, whatever, and that is telling me that there is actually favorable momentum in terms of buying rather than selling. And so right now I'm not seeing that, and that's what I'd be watching for. And why I'm interested in this stock, you must be thinking like, whoa, it's depressed quite a bit. Why do you even care? Is because of this cluster. After quite a long time, this is, if you see here from the previous, last jump, that's May, and we're sitting now in October. So that's a couple of months where there hasn't been anything happening, and now suddenly there is some action happening behind the scenes per se, because actually nobody even would look at this right now. But yeah, so what I would do personally is watch for the break of the VWAP or even the previous highs, and then see what happens even when earnings comes into play. And another thing to keep, in the back of your mind is this whole AI bubble. And this is a data center stock, I believe, right? Yeah, so they're a data center or they manage data centers, and those stocks, anything to do with tech right now or AI or machine learning, those ones are getting hit harder than the overall market. And so I'd be a little bit careful of how these stocks play out. They'd be super volatile, but I mean, you could play that volatility as well and get those gains. So yeah, for now, this is just a watch, but looking very interesting. The next one is well, and for this one, I feel the move has already happened. I mean, if you see this run, it's quite significant. Again, these are weekly candles, so this is looking way, way out long term. And this is probably where I would be buying in 2022, 2023. Would I be buying now here? I'm not too sure. I mean, you could get the dividends. They haven't been doing too well on earnings as well. I mean, I think there is possibility of um, more funding coming into this, but these guys are basically um, you know senior housing operations in terms of infrastructure, and it's kind of like a REIT, I guess, but not a REIT. Or is it a REIT? I actually don't know. Yeah, they are a REIT, yeah. So but so yeah, with these guys, with REITs, this is the best time to buy, capture all the dividends, and run that. But right now, I'm not too sure. I would stay away from this and just wait for maybe a pullback or some form of consolidation. See if there's a little bit of earnings change. And it is interesting that Blackstone is also, you know, selling quite a lot of these assets. So probably they're not making a lot of money, or this is probably the best time to cash out. To be honest, if you were buying over here. So if you would want to buy it, go ahead. Again, this is just my opinion, and not too much with this stock. Even though we are seeing a little bit of buyer momentum, just because of the move, I'm not too excited about it in terms of gain. And even I would expect the gain to be a small gain. Yeah, so even with a strong buy, you're only looking at 3%, at least based on analyst targets. So yeah, next one is HIT. HIT. Again, I'd say the same thing. Even though this is a super small stock, 164 million market cap, it is, and it's done its move. It's the same concept as well. I'd watch for this to either consolidate and hold somewhere before moving for its next leg up, or want to see the full retrace, which usually happens, and then see the next leg up. Would I be buying here? I would only buy it here if it shows that there is some clear consolidation happening, or there's some crazy earnings news, and which changes the fundamentals of the company, which usually drive the market. In terms of analysts, I don't even think anyone's looking at this right now. So yeah, it's just because that move's already quite a big move. If you were just looking from, for where we would normally buy, that's already a 78% move, and then from the bottom of that, that's a 350% move. That's quite a big move, right? So you with that kind of expansion, you definitely want some contraction and coming back in terms of the retracement before you actually have another leg up. Um, so again, I'd say another stock to watch. Not much in terms of doing right now. Next one was GLXY, um, Galaxy Digital. So I remember this stock. Super digital assets, crypto, data center infrastructure. They were quite big into everything. And honestly, the best time to watch, because this was following clearly the Bitcoin chart. So, best time to buy was in 20 and then also in 2023. Right now, not too interested. And you can see it by these big red candles showing up. I would expect maybe so right now it's testing that previous resistance point, and so there could be a little bit more retrace. We're also seeing higher volume, relative to its past, in terms of selling pressure, and so we need to see a lot of buyers stepping in to reverse that. So would I be buying it now on the retrace? It might be a good opportunity. I mean, there is probably another 50% more based on what analysts are saying. Um, but I would put a smaller position. I wouldn't put a lot on this. Um, yeah, I think that's just my opinion. I'd want to see some reversal before I actually get in Galaxy Digital. But yeah, unfortunately, that is what I think. So moving on to the public stocks. And BWMX actually did really well when I was on vacation. I actually missed to put a post on it, but they did. I wouldn't say they did really well in terms of the fundamentals. Their earnings were okay. Revenue was a little bit of a miss. I think it's just a little bit of a strain they're seeing. But analysts are still keeping that $22 target, and I think we're buying over here. Our position is at 915. And then it did really well on that earnings. You also see some more buyer momentum. And so we're still holding this. And I believe we are sitting right now at a 60% gain. So that's a good run. And I'm glad that it's holding up in this market as well. Um, and so, yeah, that's BWMX and still holding and still getting those dividends as well and that capital gain. The next one is Neo. Neo is we had I think we were trying to break that 771, didn't break it, and we are sitting here, I believe, in terms of the buy because we missed to see the original, these original buyer momentums. It wasn't on our scanner, but we got in over here, which I think was maybe a little bit risky, but whatever. Um, so right now, again, the focus is to break that 771. They did really well in terms of their delivery. And so, yeah, just waiting and holding on this. This is still open. Next one is Resolve AI. This one is closed, and so I think this is what I was saying. We want to see a lot of this buyer momentum, basically these little green arrows, based on our strategy, and crossing some pivot points and some resistances and some long-term SMA lines. And once we see that, that's when we start getting in, and then you make that nice. How much was this? I think that was 150% gain, which was perfect. And we had the stop loss 10% above, and so that's where we got out. I think at 380 or 373. So we are closed on this position, got the gains, and yeah, that's closed. The next one is Tilray. We are still open on Tilray, and I think we have a stop loss 10% again from, I believe, 69 cents. So whatever 10%, 78 cents, I guess. That's our stop loss, and we are seeing a little bit of that retrace. So I'm curious if it's gonna come all the way to that stop loss, or will it stop somewhere at some support here and move for its next leg up, which would be amazing because we bought quite a bit over here, and it was only a couple of cents, and we're already up quite a bit actually. I believe, yeah, 77%. We had already got a 230% run, which is amazing. So yeah, for now we're just holding this until the next earnings, and we'll see what happens. And WTTR, um, we actually don't have a position in this, but we made a public call for this because we just saw a lot of these buyer momentum things, and the original buy price would have been 10.14, and I believe they did well on earnings, but this was even though it says 2000%, it was actually they're still pretty tight on the margins, and there is some pressure there. So I'd say to anyone who's holding this and is up to maybe set up a stop loss, just in case these candles start getting bigger and bigger. Uh, but otherwise, just sit happy and get those dividends until it hits your stop loss. But yeah, uh, that those are the positions in terms of the public ones. And then for new ones, we're just scanning the market. We're trying to figure out what's there because there's quite a lot of selling pressure right now, and it's basically hard to find stocks that are actually going up. Even though there were some, I did see some people post some some good gains, but I do see a lot of selling. In terms of the people I follow, a lot of people are getting out of their positions. So yeah, just stay strong, and I'd say sit on a lot of cash and just wait for those good opportunities. And if you are a dollar cost averaging buyer on one of those bigger name stocks, they'll definitely recover. Just not sure how long because yeah, it can. I'm not sure if we'll get a V recovery or will it be this prolonged uh, downward action, and only time will tell. And in terms of crypto, I think is what I said last time too. We're expecting a little bit of a drop, and we're seeing that now. A little bit of bigger candles, and yeah, just we're still holding crypto and we're still holding Bitcoin, but I would expect some drops. Uh, and XRP is definitely something I am watching carefully, wanting to see more of those drops, and or at least more of a consolidation. And if I do see a reversal, any of this green buyer momentum, I'll keep you guys posted, and we will probably be going in heavy on XRP, because yes, it's got the same kind of structure as, ironically, as Dogecoin before it shot up. So this is what I mean. So So that's that shoot up that XRP saw, and then a little bit of consolidation before again its next shoot up. It's just this time there is a little bit of macro, which is negative for crypto or for the markets in general. So I would expect this to be longer, and that's what we're seeing in XRP right now. Um, wow, this is yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. So I would expect this to consolidate a bit more, or even drop a bit before shooting up. Because definitely has some value. But again, these are my thoughts, and it's up to you to do what you want with your money. And yeah, so stay confident, stay strong, and we'll keep our eyes open for opportunity. So see you guys next week.